Hey, what is going on? So, I decided that I am going to do an addition to some videos that my son did on his YouTube. His YouTube is popping. So go check him out. He is called He's Fashionable Lee. So he's fashion able with an extra E. He's Fashionable Lee. So he's been dropping some videos regularly, and there's two of his videos that I'm gonna try to respond to today. And first of all, before we get started, let's get a quote of the day. They always seem to happen, even though I'm like a year behind. I got these from a calendar, and I'm like a year behind. But for today, on February 21st, it's self-confidence is the best outfit. Rock It and Own It by an unknown author. So two of his videos, one, let go of past traumas, they're holding you back. And the other, I think that I am going to choose the one that's called The Sun, something about the sun. The sun will burn down the village just to feel its warmth. So I'm gonna try to keep these short, but because I'm addressing two videos in one, I don't know. So here we go. Letting go of your past traumas because they're holding you back. First, I am going to respond as a mother. As a mother who has apparently, but I will admit it and I will own it. As a mother who has inflicted some trauma onto my children and who has passed on generational trauma, I would like to say that one, we have to acknowledge and own what we have done. And in this particular video, one of the things that he is talking about getting whoopings. And I did that because that's what I got whoopings. But I don't believe I got whoopings. I believe I got beat. I was beat. And now with my knowledge in the social work, that was child abuse. But in the 80s and before my time, right, in the 70s and 60s and all this was like normal behavior. This is what you did. This was expected, especially in the Black community. Because what? Because in the Bible it says if you spoil a child, if you spoil the rod, spare the rod, you spare the child. So that was to be expected. And abuse was just a thing because it was discipline. But now knowing what I know now, right? Because we know if you know better, you do better. Passing on your generational trauma it's not a good thing. Somebody has to stop it. And if you're new to my channel, I have 4 children. 2 of them are in college and 2 of them are still here. One's in the 6th grade, the other is in the 4th. And so my first 2 children, yes, they got whoopings. And I feel like I was in a little bit of control of myself because I intentionally counted. I counted how many times I was hitting them. I had this mind frame that they're 6 years old, they're going to get hit 6 times, and so on. But there definitely did come a point in time, particularly with my oldest, who made this video, where I was like, okay, dude, this whipping thing isn't really about what he is doing or what I want. Yes, it is what I want, but it isn't about trying to get him to not do the particular thing that he was doing or not act right or correct himself or whatever the case may be. It is about control. Who has control of this situation? Who has more power? Is it me, the adult, or you, the child? Because it shouldn't be you. It should not be you. You do not get to tell me what to do. You do not get to tell me that you're not gonna take this whooping, right? So when we chasing our kids around, holding them to keep whooping them, whatever, that's not right. That's traumatic. That's abuse. And knowing where it comes from, that it comes from slavery and them trying to beat submission into us. After that experience, that's like I was realizing that that's what I was doing. I was trying to control him. This was a power struggle, and it was no longer about whatever that thing was that he had done. And at that time, he wasn't in middle school, so he was probably like in the 4th grade. And so hearing from him that he felt traumatized by the whoopings, hearing like way later, and I felt like you traumatized by this. He had his certain things. I'm not gonna try to tell his story, but he had his certain thing that he called out that he's traumatized by, and it's like I could see if you said you were like traumatized by a belt or you were traumatized by whatever, but we can't minimize other people's stories. You can't. Also, you should not try to compare your trauma to someone else's trauma. But again, like, this is something that we know, especially in the mental health field. You can't compare stories. That's not what it is. Value somebody's story. And so what did I say? The other thing was the sun will burn down the village, is what he called it. The sun will burn down the village in order to feel its warmth. I did realize that my way of lashing out at some point was whooping. Why? Because that was done to me. But also with other people, right? Past your children, past what was done to you. Lashing out is yelling. Lashing out is trying to take control of other people. Lashing out, burning down the village. I'm sorry. Trying to stick with the message that he called it. Burning down the village as the parent to the child, can also be you telling your kids no just for no reason, or you're over punishing. So combining these two together, learning, okay, if your kid didn't take the trash out, or they didn't do a good job cleaning in the kitchen, if you take a device from them for the rest of the evening, let's say, and you say they don't get dessert, and then you say that they can't go to the dance this weekend or something, that's over punishing. And that in itself can be traumatizing, because now they're gonna not be able to trust you. I know that is one of those things that I have done. And so in response, your children can do their best to just tear things down, because they're not feeling the love and the warmth. They're not feeling respected and appreciated by you. Knowing that respect is a two-way street, even from parent to child, that is something that we in our community definitely have to learn. We can't beat that into our kids, and we can't punish that into our kids either. We have to do it in the behaviors that we show. We have to model respect at all times, because there is a difference between punishment and discipline. Right? Telling them that they have lost their phone for the evening, that's discipline. But in this particular example that I use, if they didn't clean the kitchen properly, is it fair to punish them at all? If you yourself have not taken the time to go with them step by step on how you want the kitchen cleaned, again, that can become a trauma. There is a difference between big trauma and little trauma, right? We can consider big things that have happened, not to just you, but to the world, can be a big trauma. But then these small little traumas that happen along the way, like your child can't trust you. Your child doesn't believe that they can talk to you because you're going to flip out. You're going to overpunish. These are traumas. And so once they are old enough or big enough to then avoid you, and if they have siblings, then they're going to take that out onto their sibling. That's not something that you want either. You want to be a place of refuge for your kids. No matter what, they can trust that they're going to get their discipline and get their lessons from you. But also they're going to know that you are their warmth. You give the warmth to them. When they come into their house, that's the warmth. Warmth from the world is you. Not them having to go somewhere and tear a place apart because they now get to be in control, or they want to be in control. They want to be heard because you as a parent didn't listen to them. True enough, that's an African proverb or whatever, but the message is still the same. So if we do not let go of our traumas as a parent, we inflict that onto our kids, and then this is how it continues on, generation to generation, and even within the broader span of our community, right? So I'm going to end this there and I am going to make another video from the other perspective.